Megan, you gotta talk to somebody.
It's like
It's
because
wild.
it's not their physical appearance; it's the fact that they're not human.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Volume 1, the anime and manga podcast, where we review the first volume of a brand new manga each week. I'm Josh, definitely super young Michaels, joined today, as always, by...
Megan Monster Preen.
Oh, very good.
Cody Kaiju Decker.
Oh.
Not as good as mine. My hat's backwards. I'm young. Thank you guys for tuning into another episode. Today, we are going to be reviewing the very, very popular Kaiju number 8, a new series that only has, I think, currently as of recording this, 26 chapters. But what do I know? I'm young. So, without further ado, I guess let's just get right into this this review. That it follows a protagonist that's a little older and who is definitely of an age, way ahead of me. But maybe we should start with a synopsis for this series, or
I would like if we did a spoiler-free synopsis, because I went into this one, all I knew was the cover. And that's it. I didn't look into it. I highly recommend doing that because I do get a sense of I don't know. Like, I'm aware that that's probably the premise that you get in the synopsis, but I think it's nice if you go and you don't know that little thing that happens.
Did you read it as Kaiju number 8 or the translation for Kaiju?
It was like Monster number 8. Yeah. I read that there's like 2 official translations or something.
In America, it's Monster number 8, but I don't understand why we just
Kaiju
can't call
means
them
monster.
Yeah, but I like the word Kaiju.
Well, I mean, it makes sense if they're like, all right, we have to translate the title as Kaiju number 8. Well, that means Monster number 8. Okay, but it's like Kaiju is it's common enough of word to like understand, like that gets to just be its own word.
Yeah. I mean, we use kaiju, the word kaiju, in Pacific Rim, which is a movie that people compare this series to.
I don't think, that's not the translation for monster.
What does it mean?
It's, I think it's just the name of the monsters in the world.
But kaijus are like
kaiju.
Giant monsters, right?
No, that's,
kaijus, I think, are maybe not the direct translation of monster, but I think they are giant monsters. Does that make sense? Like, I think in, Pacific Rim, for example,
they call
the
them
monsters
kaijus?
are called kaijus in Pacific Rim.
Which if I did have a lot of compare, like the armor design, which I liked, but it is like, oh, that is like, but then it's like, well, Pacific Rim is like a very clear like tribute to like anime and manga.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm reading it, I'm like, okay, well, this came first, like it's newer than Pacific Rim, I think, but it's like. But Pacific Rim was referencing stories like this. So, like... Sure. Like, I mean, I get that, like, if you don't... if, like, you just saw Pacific Rim, you, that would be the filter for it, but it's like... Well, it was paying tribute to those stories.
Sure. Yeah. And I don't necessarily... I understand why people compare this to Pacific Rim, but I think this is a far superior story. I'm going to give a spoiler-free synopsis really quick for anybody who has no idea what this series is about. I'm going to read the official synopsis, but I'm going to cut it in half because at the halfway mark's when they give away the twist, if you will. So, Kaiju number 8 is the synopsis is: in Japan, monsters known as Kaiju regularly attack the populace with a Japanese defense force tasked with killing them. And then that's about the part about the time it starts. Yeah, but the main character is someone who is in charge of cleaning up the aftermath of kaiju battles.
Yeah, and he used to want to be one of the kaiju hunters, but it's just never happened.
Part of the defense force.
Yeah, and I was worried it was going to be a pretty generic story at first. Especially because I know, like, the idea of, like, what if it was a story focusing on the damage after the thing? That's been, like, they tried doing that with Marvel and DC, and it's, like, it's about and it's, like, no one cares.
No one cares.
And there's just people going, like, look, I found Iron Man's, like, glove, and then cool. I'd rather see Iron Man though.
Yeah, take that, Michael Keaton.
Take you son of a no. That was good. I'm talking it was shows that got canceled immediately. That was literally just about the cleanup crews. DC did it, and they're like, hey, look,
don't take that, Michael Keaton.
Superman shot lasers, and it melted my grilled cheese, and you're like, shut the fuck up.
That is
I didn't watch the show, but I don't know.
It melted my grilled cheese.
It was that kind of attitude where I don't know, there's one episode, where Lois Lane dies, and everyone goes, oh, that means time's gonna get reversed since Superman always undoes that, so everyone acts crazy because the day is gonna get rewound. And it's also,
kind of fucked up.
Yeah, but this is not that. This is like I said, a far superior story.
This is and even when I thought that's what it was, which I was getting on board for, because it's funny and it shows all right, yeah, you're on intestine duty, you're on the main character. He's probably one of my favorite main characters.
Yeah, I want to know what you think, Megan, but I want to go on record right now saying, as a young man, I want
Very
to go.
young.
Yes, thank you,
little baby boy.
Thank you so much. I want to be on record saying,
sweet little baby boy.
Thank you so much. I want to be on record saying that this might be one of my favorite series I've read since doing this podcast.
I could not stop myself.
Wow.
I'm completely caught up with the manga.
Yes.
Wow.
I could not. I wanted to be like, all right, I'll just read the first. Couldn't stop reading it.
Yes.
I loved it so much.
Right there with you.
There were issues I had with it, but it's great.
I relate to this main character more than I've ever related, and which is weird because we're so different. Guys, I gotta stop. I gotta be honest with the audience. I'm a year younger than this protagonist who is 32 years old. And so obviously the story hits a little close to home for me. I don't know why I wore a backwards hat and tried to pretend like I'm young, but
your presence is young.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're a little baby boy.
I already thanked you for that. Call me something else.
I do like the idea of not middle aged, not older, but just a more grown up adult protagonist who's just I obviously I like stories where it's it's a coming of age story. They just hit puberty or they just hit the age of adulthood, and it's a story about them growing and maturing. I love those stories, but I mean this is how often do you get a story about someone who's just I had those dreams and never really worked out.
Yeah. This
just
is where
content.
I'm
with just living this life.
It's a living, and then it's I also like that it wasn't giant robots fighting monsters.
No, absolutely.
It's people in power suits and guns and stuff. I like that it was it didn't. It seemed pretty generic at first, but I was okay, they're doing that. Even just that little difference, I liked.
Yeah, I was absolutely blown away by this series. I think having a protagonist that's in his early 30s is something that I never knew I needed, and I know it exists. But, here it's a focal point of the story, and it was very real, and it was very touching, and it was very action-packed, and it was very everything, and it nailed everything, and I loved it. But Megan, it's obvious that me and Cody can't stop gushing about it. What did you think about it?
I really liked it. I had no idea, obviously, about this story or manga. I again, like Cody said, I just saw the cover, and I didn't really know anything. I know it had something to do with monsters, so I was kind of going in expecting that. But it made me reminiscent of series that I've already seen, but not in a bad way. It made it better because it was better. It reminded me of One Punch Man and My Hero and Cells at Work because of the cleanup team, and I was oh, this is cool that they're kind of implementing this, but I'm not mad at it because it's doing it way better than any of these series.
There is a scene we'll talk about more where it's it could have easily been give you this idea of oh wow, this is clearly a My Hero scene.
Well, it's funny because people compare this to an older version of My Hero.
Yeah, I mean shonen maybe, but
Vigilantes maybe.
Yeah. Well, no, just because there's the one scene that's you can clearly compare these two scenes, but even the way the main character handles it, I root for him way more. I
think I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, we'll talk, but yeah, he this and part of it is him being a guy who's he's not gonna cry all the time. He's an adult, and he has he's this he panics and everything, but he has this sense of honor.
Absolutely.
That you really don't see that too much of just general, like, it's not like it's not really even an issue for him. He's like, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, I have never rooted for a character more. I've never cared about a character so quickly. But I think I know, and I'm not going to spoil it during this part of the podcast, but I think I know exactly what you're talking about. And not only is it a more endearing sequence compared to the My Hero kind of parallel version of it, but it's also something interesting about the way that they use comedy in this series and how this character does have a sense of honor, but this comedy is used to almost it's an optimistic kind of comedy that he's never down on himself.
Yes.
He's always really trying his best, and I never feel bad for him. I always root for him. Does that make sense?
It's like he is an underdog, but it's not even like, because it's not an exaggerated kind of underdog either. So you're sort of like, here's this guy doing this thing, and you're like, I wish him the best.
No, literally, he's just doing the best he can, and it's not like, oh, I feel sad for me because my life, and blah. He's just like, fuck, drink this because you're gonna need it. Just like things that I've learned from the job.
Yeah.
And just giving this kid tips and like being a nice person and realizing like, okay, my life could have gone this way, but I kind of got in my own way, and him realizing that not anyone else, not blaming anyone else but himself.
Yeah.
And even he doesn't really blame himself until he finally realizes like, oh, I did do that, huh? I held myself back a little bit.
And
there.
that's a good point too. This is another example of a character who doesn't take it out on the world necessarily.
Exactly.
He doesn't take it out on the systems that are in place. He takes it out on himself, but not in a way where he's ever like, he's very okay and honest about like, this is a dream that I had, and I, like you said, got in my own way. That's on me, kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's still being like, it's not a bad life.
Exactly.
Yeah, and what I like too is we can get pretty in depth with this story before we get into any, because the premise being he works in like kaiju cleanup, which I was worried about at first, but they pull it off very well.
Yes.
And I liked the
very
way
realistic.
Yeah, where it's like, you're on this duty. He's like, and then he like gets on that duty again. You're like, come on, man, I just worked that shift.
He's like, but you're so good at the job. We just have to give it to you. Yeah. It's like, you just do it so well and you don't complain, so we just keep doing it. Just like fucking work.
Yep.
They do that shit all the time. You're so good at it though. And you're like, you know what? I am good at it. And that's how they fucking trick you.
Classic manual labor trick, because then you start taking pride in your work.
Oh yeah.
And that's how they really get you.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, dude?
Oh my God. Taking pride in something that you actually do.
And just being comfortable with that's your lot in life.
It can see how some of the elements in this story hit a little too close to home.
Because he wanted to be in the Defense Force, and at as the story goes on, they're like, oh, there is an opportunity for you to maybe, like, they up the age restriction, because that's where he was at, right? He's like, I passed the age limit. I can't get in.
Couldn't even if I wanted to.
Yeah. So it's like time to move on, but they're like, oh, things are getting kind of bad. You can try again. So it's kind of like Rocky. I don't know, where it's like this guy who's like, he would have been like getting ready to like give it all up, and now it's like, here's your chance. And he's like, yeah, he gets to use the fact that he did clean up to like help, like he understands the anatomy of kaijus better, and how he.
Well, it's
life
also
experience.
That's exactly what I wrote down. It's something that regardless of this intimidation that you might feel when it comes to trying to succeed in something that has a maybe younger, like the people within that
college.
Not college, college.
You guys go back to school.
Or anything that anything.
I remember going to college, and there'd always be one person who's like, yeah, I dropped out, now I'm back.
Yeah.
And it's like, haha. And now I'm like, oh, if I go back, I'll be that guy.
Well, comedy too, like there's the argument with comedy when you meet people that start so young, there's the argument of, yes, is this person someone who's going to be better at comedy because they started younger, they have more time, or is someone who waited and has more life experience going to be better because they have more to talk about, right? And there's that constant sort of debate on like which is better. Do you start young?
And of course, the better one is the one that you're doing.
The one that whoever the person is doing, right? Not me specifically? Or
yeah.
Okay. yeah. Just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah.
But I do think life experience is super important. Like this series embodies like it's never too late to kind of achieve your dreams. and to use what you have to succeed at those dreams, and use your life experience, use your knowledge. Don't try to do what everybody else is doing. Stay in your lane.
There is that really cool scene at one point where he just realizes, like, I'm not going to do this, but I can do this. And, like, that can still help. And you're like, I love this guy.
I love him, too. He doesn't try to be something that he knows he's not. But he doesn't let that, you know what I mean, get in the way of him accomplishing what he wants to accomplish. It's a like, inspiring story. Mm-hmm. And I have not felt this way reading something in a long time. We've read series on this podcast that I've loved and that I still love and will always love. Spy X Family being one of them. But this made me feel completely different, and I got like emotional. But not in a fire punch way, in a fun way. I don't know.
It's like, I don't know. You hear like like music playing as he gets up. This guy's just like, time to get to work, time to do this. I always wanted to do this. Well, hey, maybe you can. He's like, I'll give it a shot.
Yes.
And he's just like, I'm a little slower, but I'm like, he gives it his all. He doesn't, he thinks to himself, like, I'm getting older. But he doesn't like be like, if only this was the thing keeping me back is my age. He's like, because he was younger, and he's like, it didn't work then either. Because he's tried to get in, and like, it just didn't happen.
But he meets this young character, and I think that's the catalyst, right? Mm-hmm. This new guy who comes to work for the Kaiju cleanup department, and he's an 18-year-old kid who wants to be in this defense force, and he's unapologetic
he's the serious
about it.
One. He's like, you're not. I will drive them out, and I'm the you gave up. You don't have the will that I.
But he's so nice though.
Yes.
Still, like he's not like that asshole. He's just like, you fucking suck. He's just like, why don't you just give it a shot?
Well, that's the thing. He becomes sort of the reason that Kafka, the main character,
we'll talk about his name.
Yeah, even tries again. He's almost a parody of the rival, but then becomes something completely different.
Because at one point he says, like, we're gonna be attending the same exam, so we're gonna be like rivals. And I thought, like, oh, is that going to be like? Because there's mangas that I don't like that'll do that because they mean it genuinely.
Yes,
but like he meant it as a way, so like we'll always be pushing each other.
Exactly.
To be
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about series that are anti-shonens or series that are trying to do something outside of the shonen sort of genre or action genre. But this is something that I think deserves way more attention than it's getting.
Well, it's very new. It's only at 26 chapters.
Yeah.
Well, I read somewhere that it surpassed, this might be wrong, I read it on Wikipedia, but I mean, I don't know how accurate it is.
No, everything.
That it surpassed 30 million views, making it the fastest Shonen Jump Plus series to achieve that.
Yes. I did.
Did you read that as well?
I did see somewhere that it passed Jujutsu Kaisen at one point and Demon Slayer at one point. But I don't know where that was compared to, like, the time in which that happened.
Yeah.
But on the Shonen Jump Plus app, it's one of the most popular series, and that app is the same app that has the Spy X Family series.
Yeah, because Shonen Jump Plus is like kind of different. It's like
yes.
than Shonen Jump.
Yes.
And
they don't have as many boundaries that they have to adhere to.
Yeah.
They have a little more freedom to do.
Well,
whatever
that's
they
why
want to do.
like this story and Spy X Family, they're just so unique and different and good and not fitting into these boxes that sometimes anime try to fit in just to fit into the box,
Yes.
Like that's what I like about both of the series, because it's just like it doesn't have to just be one thing. Like you don't have like just to we're just putting this label on it. Like no, it's all of these things.
Yeah, and what's cool is
why can't it just be all of these things?
No, you're absolutely right. And what's cool is like Spy X Family and Kaiju number 8 are both in a shonen manga magazine. You know what I mean? So I think if this is where manga is going, and we can kind of sort of like, there's a place for everything, right? There's a place for those Jujutsu Kaisen sort of shonens But I think if we can get away even more from the norms of the genre, and we can have older protagonists, or we can have wholesome family slice of life stories, like these are playing on the strengths of the genre, I think, of the medium, right? And the fact that they're both in Shonen Jump Plus, to me, says a lot about maybe not always adhering to those norms.
And as like, you know, the demographic, like everyone enjoys anime and manga from ages 0 to 90. Like everyone enjoys.
I know a lot of
ages
0-year-olds,
1 to 94.
Yeah.
That's a song.
Is that the song? The
That's
Christmas song? Yeah. Okay. I was trying to think of the numbers, and I
if
couldn't
you're
think
95.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, I got dark.
It got very dark.
You did the thing too. You did the
What thing? Oh, I didn't do a gun sound.
you're
It's
outta
just
here.
you're out of here, and not
I
kill.
I saw it out of the corner of my eye. I thought it was like a.
It kind of was, but I kind of wanted to make myself look better and not want to kill old people.
Okay, so she got caught. She was in on it.
But you know, it's cool to see
No,
an
you're absolutely
older
right, yeah.
protagonist. And I was watching a YouTuber, and he was saying the exact same thing. He's like, "This is not a thing that really happens. You see high school kids doing shit, and you're like, this is cool, this is fun. But when you like see like a person your own age, like similarly, you're like, oh wow, I like this." And I do enjoy a good series that has older characters in it. Like Life is Hard for an Otaku. They're like my age, and they're like going to work and doing adult things, but still like having a good story and like character development at a different age, not just growing up. Like you just see these growing up stories all the time. It's like, oh, we get it. Like they're reaching adulthood, and then you don't see anything after that. So,
And this is still a coming of age story.
yeah, because he's not. He's in his prime.
Well, yeah, dude. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Thank you for saying that.
It's basically, I mean, there's a lot of parallels you can see. Like this is someone like, maybe I'll go back to college. Maybe I'll do this. And it's like, he deals with the fact that like, yeah, I'm gonna be the oldest one there, and he just like, but that like why I should do it though.
Yeah.
That's my dream.
Yeah, and he has so many moments. And we're going to get into, obviously, we haven't even covered the hook or the twist of the series yet. But,
Which I have questions about.
Yeah.
And I didn't necessarily like.
And I actually, yeah, I think the strongest parts are about when it's about him trying to keep up with these exams and showing like how just because he's not like the strongest, he's useless, and which is the thing about like there's they're the top of the class or whatever, but like you can still do stuff like that doesn't invalidate what you do.
Well, I mean about how it happened, I guess I should say.
I mean that too. That
was the only issue I had with it.
I love this manga. I highly recommend it to anyone. I saw that it is for the official translation is for free on Manga Plus. You should absolutely read it. I have like a couple of issues with it still though. But it's such a good story. It's still a great story.
Yeah, and I love how even when we get into the spoiler section, what ends up happening is not something that is used as a crutch.
And that, but that fact is why I was like, this guy is like a guy who's like, this is a real person who like is like just a code of honor, like honest, and I'm like, I want him to succeed, and like I
who understands responsibility.
Yes. I was struggling to
just like who understands like, oh, I can't probably do this because it'll have repercussions for my actions, whereas if you're 16 you're like, fuck it. But blow them up.
Other people will take care of it.
Exactly. But he's the one who's been taking care of it for so long. So he's like, fuck, I do not want to cause any problems for other people because it's on me.
Which it is the nice thing of like, so like the defense force, they've got like super suits and they've got super guns.
I like how those look too.
I love those suits.
Let me tell you this. Everything about this series down to the suits, but the art style in the beginning kind of I was a little on the fence on. It looked almost too, and this is not a diss. I think, web comics are, incredibly well drawn, but there's this like stigma, I think, and this maybe stereotype for them to look a certain way, and it felt a little too clean and too almost like web comic-y at first, but the more it went on, the more I fell in love with the art style, in love with the characters, the suits, the world, the monsters, everything I fell in love with. It's a unique style that I have not seen before. This guy has other series too that he's done.
Yeah. And I want to look into those too, because both of them, me, I like my cute shit.
Yeah.
And one's called Neko Wappa, and I'm like,
I love it already.
Are you kidding me? Pochi Kuro.
Well, the first one you mentioned is the one
Kuro.
Oh, okay.
You say it all the time, Kuro.
Yeah. Kuro.
Kuro.
That means black.
That means black. The first one you mentioned, I think, is the cutesy one, though, right? It's a bright pink cover with a very cute
little
girl.
cat.
Yeah. Isn't it is it a cat girl or is it?
It's
just
like a cat girl, and I think there's like cats behind her, but it looks super cute, and I definitely want to look into it. And I think the other one was about like a demon and a girl or something like that. But the cover did look cool too. So
yeah, the art style it's sharp. Like something about it is very sharp, and it is clean, and it almost. And I mean this as a compliment to its uniqueness, but it feels like it dips into like comic book art sometimes, but it's heavily, obviously, manga inspired, but it does feel like it draws from a little bit of, I don't want to say Western, but...
Well, that's what I've been noticing more is like, because like All Might is clearly inspired by Superman, but like I'm starting to see these things of like, All Might is now starting to inspire certain elements of Superman, and so like if Pacific Rim,
he is.
Well,
All Might is now influencing Superman. Is that what
manga
you're saying?
is
oh, I see what you're saying.
Manga in general,
Okay.
but yeah, like especially like because I don't know, comic artists, the stories of the characters usually kind of gloss over these things.
Yeah.
Well, and then because I'm like, and yeah, it's like Pacific Rim, clearly inspired by Anna, and I believe that like the person saw Pacific Rim and like the armor, because unless that's an armor type, it's pretty close to that armor, and I haven't seen anything else.
But I think what you're saying too is that a lot of like, especially in America or in the West, a lot of Western cartoons are being heavily influenced by anime. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because also the comic book industry is aware that manga is overtaking comic books in sales in the States. And they're like, why? And this is why.
This is 100% why. But also comic books, it's not just the art, it's the storytelling too.
Oh, the storytelling is garbage.
In comics.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this is why. This is like an example of something that knows what it is. And is doing. I can't like. I was struggling before we record, or like we were gonna record this. Like, how do I convey to people? Like saying it out loud doesn't feel like enough. Like confidently, I can say that this is one of my favorite series that I've read, at least in all of last year, for sure. Dang. I don't want to say I don't want to say of all time because I don't want to be over dramatic. But of everything we read last year, I would put this like, it's like Chainsaw Man. Maybe Kaiju number 8 next.
I was like, there's another one?
It's the sequel.
It's the sequel already?
Yeah.
Wow, you're really caught up.
Yeah. It's a fan fiction I'm working on.
Is talking about his motivation, is that spoilery, or you think that would be?
No.
Because I like his motivation. It doesn't even seem to be romance based.
It's not even like malice either.
No.
He's just like, oh, that's how the world works. One person can be better than another person, and I'm not gonna hold that against you. You just did it better than I did.
That's the thing. I think we should just mention really quick too that his motivation is that he has a childhood friend that is a part of this defense force, but isn't just anybody.
Yeah, she's the poster child.
Yes,
because they both had that moment of like, I'm gonna become the best one, like, and I'll be right at your side, and it's and then he just. It didn't work out for him, and he's not like bitter. Yeah, he's not bitter about the fact that she succeeded. He's just like I didn't do it.
What is beautiful about it and what is real about it is he's almost. I've felt this when he does, try again, and he does go back to take the class over or to take the whatever test over.
Yeah.
He's optimistic and he's passionate and he's trying really hard, but it does feel like there is this like he's trying to prove it to her, but he's also like a little bit embarrassed, I feel like, for having to be there again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not set out right, but I do like kind of feel that for him. Like she did it. And she's the best. She not only did it, she far exceeded it.
Yeah.
And he's just trying to get in for the second time as a 32-year-old man. So there is this like, I don't want to call it's not shame. That sounds like a drastic or dramatic word, but there is like a little bit. I feel like he is a little embarrassed.
Well, that's what I got. I don't know if embarrassed is alright, but I think shame does work because it's like he essentially broke a promise to her, and that's why. And because he's like, his new thing is like, I'm gonna like it wasn't just to become like a great warrior. It was to be by her side.
That and also the shame of just like it wasn't things out of my control that made me not do it to keep my promise. It was just I wasn't good enough.
Wow. And I love what you said too. He's not bitter. He doesn't hold it against her. He roots for her. He's not in love with her, but he is like amazed by her, I think. But he is also like a little he also wants to still I don't know. You know what's interesting? I just thought of this. He never wants to surpass her. He just wants to be there with her.
Yeah, his guiding motivation is one last hurrah at fulfilling a childhood promise he had to an old friend.
Yeah.
And that's all he wants to do. It's not like, and then we'll get married.
No.
Look, I'm rooting for him to get with her, but
she's fucking awesome, by the way.
Yeah. And it's just, I don't know, it's just this wholesome motivation he has on like every level.
Yeah. There's and again we'll get into it later. I don't know, how far did you get, Megan, by the way?
I read not all of it. I just read the first volume.
How many chapters
like
is that? Just
8?
so I don't spoil anything.
Yeah, I think it's like 8. Actually, I think I read maybe I think I finished at 9. So a little over the first volume because it was really good.
Would the first volume end at chapter 8?
That'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool.
Dang.
But there is a moment. I don't think you got there yet, Megan. But there is a moment with her. Something very small, something very subtle. But because because they've done such a good job setting up this character and letting you know who this person is, this one little thing is like, wow.
And
like,
you're like,
wow. Yeah.
Oh, she's cool too.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, like it's not just that she's like the badass warrior, but it's also like,
yes.
Oh, she's also a cool person.
Yes. There's like, because over the course of the series, everybody seems to look up to her, so you almost get the sense that she's
going to be the one who scoffs at everyone.
Yeah, but there's still a little bit of that childhood friend in there, and maybe not even a little bit, maybe a lot of her is still in there.
Yeah,
but she just has to be this.
There is one line where you're like, it's really nice, and I really like how like much character. She doesn't really get that many lines, so like one word she says is like, you understand her half of that, and I was, and at no point was I like, oh, either one is like in love with the other one, even has a crush on the other.
Yeah.
No.
It's just like we were supposed to do this together.
Yeah. Everything about the series, and the way that characters are so themselves, and I know that might sound broad, but it's like it's very clear who they are, and it's never something I feel like I've seen before. I mean, even though it starts that way, where it goes and the longer it goes, it's like I literally just remember reading a chapter and just saying out loud, "Wow."
Yeah.
Wow.
I think
wow.
I think the only thing to know before we go into story details and stuff would be like just how that armor system works. If someone's wondering how fight scenes and stuff work, if we just go over that, because I really like how that's done.
Okay, before spoilers. So we'll do this and then we'll get into...
This is just a power system.
Okay.
That and how that works with them.
Okay, so you're talking specifically about the
armor.
Because the defense force, they have power armor. Mm-hmm. So it is a thing of like, oh, anyone can wear these. Anyone can have this. It's not this thing of like, oh, you're excluded. Oh my fucking god!
How unprofessional.
I'm gonna rip out the Bixby button on my phone. I don't know. I like it. There's no turn off.
She's like
button.
in love.
Yeah, a little clingy.
Literally, never use Bixby. It's constant. Anyway, where it's like, okay, there's power, and I guess the suits are like based on like they use kaiju like muscle fibers in them, and they can like exert like more strength from it. And like, oh, that's how they fight these things. They wouldn't. That makes actually way more sense than a giant robot.
Them just being strong.
Yeah, yeah, because usually you would have someone, which I thought they were doing at one point. You would just have someone be like, and I can do this, and you're like, oh, all right,
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a spoiler either to say that what is different about them, the suits of armor or the I guess exoskeleton looking suits of armor, is
one, they're actual exoskeletons.
Yeah, but two, they also you can also draw power from them, and everybody draws a different amount of power from them based on where they're currently at. Not physically.
It's something that's been vaguely gone over. This vague sense of, I don't know, experience, willpower.
Yeah.
Something where it's like, yeah, some people they have better control over it. One person's like, oh, they already had one of these, so they've had time to like train with it.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the guns are like, you can exert
yes.
that force into the guns you use. So like, the more, so like it, in any other story, it would be the main character has the strongest will. And he's the one who can like exert more power than anyone has ever seen. And what's funny is that's basically what his childhood friend was.
Yes, but we also get to see him giving it everything he's got, which is just a beautiful moment that's kind of flipped on its head. Mm-hmm. And I do want to get into a little bit of story details, but I also want people who haven't read the series yet, I want us to make sure that we've kind of covered everything to sell them on it, because I do think this is a series that, like, I have never recommended something more. Like, read this series. Don't let us spoil it for you. But do we need to cover anything else before we go into spoiler territory?
I mean, there's giant monsters. The guy.
I don't think so. I think that's pretty good start.
Well, then
you know what that means.
Then I guess
get your foot off the desk.
What are you doing?
What? No.
Well, I was just gonna say that people listening or watching, it would probably benefit them to hear some sort of sound or something so that they know when we're getting into spoilers.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
If only we had a system for that.
It's spoiler time.
Whoa.
Was Godzilla here?
That's not bad, actually. I like that a lot.
Were you getting ready to do the roar?
Yeah.
I heard it.
Yeah.
I heard it.
It's like a scream. It's not even a roar. It's like,
no.
I'm not going to do it.
Try it again. Yeah.
No,
yep, that's Godzilla.
That was more of a Pokemon.
I like how it was a little bit Pokemon.
Maybe Godzilla Jr.
Oh yeah.
Also like pterodactyl vibes.
Yeah, say Screonk. That's how it's written out.
It's written Screonk.
That's how it's.
That's a Pokemon. That's 100%.
Oh my god! I think we're being attacked by Godzilla.
I think we're being attacked by Spearows.
Oh yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Megan, that's really good.
I'm not going to do my Pikachu.
So yeah, we're going to talk about the story details now.
Yes.
So it's him and this like new, and that's why the main character like joined the cleanup force. He's like, oh, I can get to know the monsters more. That way it'll help me prepare for this. And he sort of just kept doing that, and it sort of just became his job. I think anyone who like gets a job to support their passion can relate to. You're like, I'm just doing this job now.
Yeah, I don't care about the job at all, and then you're like, oh, I have to care a little bit to like actually keep it.
And then that's what the new
and then
guy
it engulfs your life.
Yeah.
Well, how terrifying that realization is, right? Where you're telling yourself, I'm going to get this job to make ends meet, to do the thing I want to do more than anything else, and to just realize one day, like, oh, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, that's terrifying.
That's why it's really cool that the main character doesn't view that as wasted time either.
No.
In fact, it's not wasted at all. He's able to use it and to his advantage and help other people. And then that's what the new guy who comes in like sort of represents. Like that's where he used to be at. Because he's like, I would never let my dreams fade away, which we all think. And
and that's what he's doing exactly. Because he read, the little spoiler of his own for the test to come. So he was like, okay, I'm going to get prepared and just do this. And almost like an internship before I enter the field.
Yeah.
So that's what he does exactly. And he's like, no, definitely I'm not going to stay here. You don't need to give me all these tips because I'm not going to be here for long. I'm just, learning the ropes. And he's like, that's what you think, kid.
Yeah, but I like that he's sort of, I don't know if humbled is the right word, but he's not like he comes into the story as this arrogant, cocky, I'm the young hot shot, but he immediately becomes a friend, and beyond that, someone who is hit with the reality of what accomplishing your dreams are and is forced to dig deep and actually work hard towards achieving them. He's not cocky and arrogant the entire time. He gets to a point where he's like, I am going to listen to this guy, help this guy, and this is the kind of person I want to be, and I'm going to work hard to be that person.
And also, I can learn something from him.
Yeah.
Sort of like an arrogant youth learning that there's value in wisdom and experience. And it's like, that's lovely. That's beautiful.
Arrogant youth.
The arrogant youth. That's our band.
Can we get to the twist? Because I want to know what your problems are.
Because it is in the first chapter, and normally that's something I just anyone should absolutely experience that for themselves.
Yeah.
They go on like one mission together where he's explaining like monster anatomy. There's like weak points in them, and then this is valuable. So we sell the skins to this company, we sell the bones to this company, and then it's not even a mystery. You find out even like what they do with those skins and bones. Mm-hmm. And they get, like, injured by, like, oh, there was an auxiliary monster that happens sometimes. And they're on, like, intestine duty, right?
Yeah.
Because you can get acid burns on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's that good moment where he's like, like, I can die. Like, I'm going to put my life before yours because you still have, like, a lot of shit to do, and I can die. And he's just like, oh, no, you can't, though.
Yeah.
And then they figure it out.
Yeah, I feel a little, I don't know what it is. It's not, like, sadness, but I feel myself already tearing up at the beauty.
I don't know why either.
Of that dynamic of them, of like that sort of like.
I don't know why, Megan. I feel like it's hitting us on a different level.
It's just that it like that's the moment where they're both like, we're gonna do the exam together.
Yeah.
I don't know where because he's like. Because it was almost him being like, my life's over, man.
Yeah, he's
like,
giving it up.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is probably how I should die anyway. Like, it makes sense. And then she swoops in, right? She swoops in to save the day.
Oh, yeah, they get saved by the defense force.
And he's like, oh, fuck.
And he likes
but you.
You get, like, just like that was... We had these. I had a promise that I would be that, and then she can just see him, and he's just like,
"No, this is my job." And they probably haven't spoken. Mm-hmm. Like they're not on a talking basis.
Well, I like that too. Like he really, again, something that just endears me to him. He wants to be by her side so badly, and believes at a certain point that he can do it. So much so that he doesn't want to talk to her until he gets there. So he will have interactions with her, and he'll be about to talk to her because they have the childhood friend connection, and he'll stop himself and say, no, like not till I'm like her equal, or not till I'm there with her.
Dude, I can't wait
not
for
until
that,
I'm at least
for the scene.
Yeah.
Could already see it in my head. She's just like, why didn't you fucking talk to me?
I think, well, that's like, kind of what me and Cody were alluding to, because there is something that does eventually happen. and it's a version kind of what you said, but the way it's done is a more subtle version of it, and I think it makes it more powerful.
And we'll get to it, but yeah, I could talk about just the volume 1 for a while.
Yeah,
but they end up getting hospitalized because they still got acid burns.
They got hurt,
and then this is your final moment to not ruin this experience for yourself.
Yeah.
Because Megan, what happens while he's laying in the hospital bed?
Okay, this is the part that I had an issue with.
Oh.
This is the part that I didn't get. Like, it didn't make any sense. Like, it could have been handled differently.
Mm-hmm.
He eats a bug.
Yeah. Pretty standard.
He eats a bug, like a big bug.
Well,
like,
specifically, a bug crawls into his mouth.
Okay, yeah, a bug crawls in his mouth, and he eats the bug, and then the bug turns him into a monster.
Yeah.
In the hospital.
Yes.
And
what's wrong with that?
Something was said when the bug is about to enter his mouth. I think I saw you wrote it down, in fact.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I found you.
Like, found you. And it crawls into his mouth.
Yeah, it says, I finally found you. And he's like, what? And then it crawls into his mouth, and it's nasty. It's a nasty bug. I didn't like it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Did it look like a butterfly? Is that why? Like kind of maybe reminiscent?
It was nastier version. Ugh.
So my question to you is, what's off about that?
Why?
I agree with that. I love this, but there is a moment where it's like, okay, that's. I mean, I read ahead, so like, okay, I can kind of like they still haven't gone into it at all, but I can see how there could be some sort of reasoning.
There has to be. There's no way they wouldn't make the bug say anything. They would just crawl into his mouth and not say, I found you. Like, who? What?
Well, yeah. I mean, there comes a point where, fuck. This is definitely, I don't think, in volume 1.
It's definitely not. But but yeah, it so far
they start to go there. I'll just say that.
But yeah, it is a. I think it is still a negative that in volume 1 you're sort of oh, all right, whatever. That like you're like.
It just left.
We're just gonna move on.
Yeah,
I have
exactly.
zero problems with it.
I mean, it's not like a huge problem. It's just like I just reading it. I was like, wait, what? And I just like reread. I was like, did that just happen? And then he just turns into the monster.
Well, because I've seen complaints that people are a little thrown off at A, how fast it happens, and B, how he seems able to. Well, I mean, yeah. Let's be real. Wait, when he's a kaiju, Megan, you gotta talk to somebody.
It's like, because it's not their physical appearance. It's the fact that they're not human.
Yeah. What's weird, you know what? It does actually make a lot of sense because, if they were human, you wouldn't be attracted to them. You'd want to eat them. Right.
No, but like, you guys, right. Come on, forward with me.
No,
like he saw it.
No,
sure.
I mean, yeah.
And kaiju form too. When he's like bony.
We're gonna get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, we're
gonna figure it out.
Part of the point of this channel is to figure out the psychology of Megan's attractions to characters.
Yeah.
I said epic. And why am I attracted to this monster? Man, I need help. That's literally what I wrote. I'm very self-aware, you guys.
Highlighted and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, great.
Megan, what we don't do on this podcast is judge people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's not true. I liked where it's the unfamiliar with the power, like breaking stuff. I like when a story does stuff like that, and then it shows that it's not just a clean armored monster man. It can like get crazy, and he can like lose. He just grows like tentacles everywhere and mouths all over his body. I did have.
If you're only listening, you're really missing out.
Go, Cody.
I had an issue with how little of the story was focused on
him being able to control it.
Yes, I feel like it kind of glossed over that. I really would have liked to see more of that. I don't know. It didn't really feel earned when he was just like, I'm over it now.
Well, yeah,
and then he gets to the time skip. I would have liked to see that.
Yes, there. And for everybody, watching and listening, I hope if you're at this point, then you've at least read it. But everybody, or a lot of people, seem to have the problem that they gloss over that they don't mention how he can control it so easily. It just seems like it's something that's crazy and that he can't control, and then all of a sudden he can, at will, go from form to form.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all. I think it's a pretty big negative for me.
I kind of liked it because, the alternative is chapters with him training and learning how to inevitably control it, and that's going to be the goal. And I feel like I don't need to see that.
Well, it's the basis for like the majority of the issues. There's only a few. Any issues I have with it are founded on that issue of the fact that he just has control over this thing. Because it glosses over the any sort of like issues. I'm like, it is that feeling of One Punch Man where you're like, oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know. I'm hoping that because he said I found you, there's some importance to that, and like maybe he's chosen, or I don't know, something along those lines. Like
he
there
has
to be
the mental fortitude to easily control.
Yeah,
it or something.
It got to be like that. Because even I think they do mention it too. They're just like he is struggling, but then he's just like, oh, you can change. He's like, don't change because I know you can do it on command now.
Yeah, because I thought it was like, oh, he's stuck in this like monster form. It's gonna be about that, but then it's like, next chapter he's like, hey, your mouth kind of went monster. Like, I'm sorry, I'm still.
Yeah.
All right, I'm good. All right, let's go.
I would say,
and I love how like angrily supportive his friend is, where he's like, you can't let yourself get exposed like that. We got to do this.
And then his motivation to get stronger. That's tied into him transforming because because the whole thing is if he transforms in front of anybody, especially the defense force, then they'll want to study him or kill him or
kill him more like it. I think they're just like, you're gonna die on sight.
Well, also they also do say once he reveals himself to another character, that sounded bad. They also do mention that they use special kaiju as weapons.
Yeah, it's like they use like the muscles of kaiju in general for suits, but like there are like classes, and the higher class ones, those that's where they make the high gear, and those are very valuable, and they'll want to capture you.
Yeah.
And when he first transforms, he's terrifying people, and there's really funny scenes where he's like, all right. Because his mentality never changes. Yeah. So he is just
even in kaiju form, he's still himself.
Yeah, it's not like...
Yep, that's why I love him.
Oh, I like... That makes it a little bit better.
Yeah, it's not just like a ravenous monster. Like, he's still himself. He could still talk and, like, form sentences. And he can change back whenever.
Change back to which form?
His human one.
Mm-hmm.
Both are very nice.
I agree. I definitely agree that
there's that scene where he's like, oh, smile, and then he's like, it's just this horrible monster smile, and everyone's like screaming,
and the kids are like, oh, that scene was so cute too, and he saves those children, and he's all monstered out, and then she's like, thank you, and he's just like,
yeah.
What I will say though,
I love a scene where a child gets over the horror of a monster and sees the beauty with it,
and he has no family either. That's something to point out as well.
Does his childhood friend?
I don't know.
Oh,
I mean, like wife or like kids.
Oh, I thought you meant okay. Yeah. No, he's a single 32-year-old man. If only.
You'll be that next year.
A single 32-year-old man. Absolutely.
Let's hope not.
You can hope for whatever.
And I eat bugs. Anyway, what I don't like necessarily,
That was not worth the joke. Okay.
What I don't like, while you guys have issue with him eating the bug, and while you guys have issue with it not explaining how he can go from form to form, what I have issue with is that as of right now, there doesn't seem to be any consequence for him turning into the kaiju. It's not like taking something out of him. Mm-hmm. He's not losing anything by doing it. The only reason he doesn't do it all the time is because of exposure, and it's his like own personal sort of honor system that he has. Like, he can do it when no one's around, but he would rather kind of get by on his own.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, there must be an explanation of why he can do all the things that he can do. Like, I mean, it just has to be a thing.
And I hope it's founded on the basis of like, oh, because you're pretty stable mentally, that gives you more control. I really hope it doesn't turn into some sort of like
witch hunt.
No, like, there's a reason. You have a genetic marker that makes you. Because I don't like Chosen One stories at all.
No, I don't know. I mean, that's the only, like, that explanation is, like, the only way how it would be justified. Like, they're not going to justify it if it's, like...
What I like about them not showing it now is it's giving the writer a chance to basically go back and do whatever he wants to do. For the story to go. I'm sure he has a roadmap, right? But it gives him a chance to kind of flesh out that story, get to know this world and this character more, and then he can go back and explain it however he wants to explain it, and he has that option now. He's not tied down to... I like that it's still open. And
yeah,
I mean...
Of course, yeah. It's like the readers are excited.
Found You opens up so many...
Yeah.
Like, reasons for this and all these, like, potential answers to get. Like, if a bug just crawled into his mouth and I'd be like, what if it crawled into someone else's mouth? Would you know, but like, it's like, so something's going on.
And I guess what you're saying is you hope that with something like that, it leaves the door open for speculation. And sometimes when people speculate, they are let down by what the real answer ends up being.
I don't want the reason to be that, like, it's something that, because the story is a lot of, like, the value of, like, working with what you have. So I don't want it to, because if it turns out there's like, oh, you are the great grandchild of this guy who ate bugs. So like, I want the story to still be this thing of like getting by on your own merit and stuff. And I don't know if they gave it like because if they there's reasons that they could explain that would sort of undercut the message that this story has, and I really hope it hasn't done that at all yet, but I hope that it doesn't do the reveal that it's like,
so like, what could it possibly be?
It could be something, like he worked with monsters, so he has understanding of them. He is a pretty like chill dude. That might be all it takes to like have more control over it. Like, if someone was like emotionally unstable, they could probably like, he's not someone who's power hungry. He's not someone who wants to like cause destruction or rule. He just wants to get back in contact with his old childhood friend. So like, there is a thing of like, if it was anyone else, it could have gone way worse, but it's not because he's special. It's because he's a chill dude.
Yeah, I could not agree more. I would be devastated, especially after praising the series as much as I have. I would be devastated if it ended up being something that he inherently had rather than something he had to work towards or, use his own skills to achieve. There's no dancing around it. There are things that happen later in the series where Can I, Cody? Are you going to get mad at me if I say...
I probably will. Now, would you be able to... if we continue on the story, will it naturally come up? Because I want to talk about the exam arc.
Okay, I'll wait.
Okay. Put a lid on it?
Sure. Put a bug in it.
So, yeah, they start... They're ready for the exam. He's already monster man. So he's like, don't turn into a monster because they'll kill you at the exam. And he's like, yeah, I know. I've taken this before. And
there's another reason. Yeah, like we've pretty much said it all. But the reason he doesn't want to use his... Because he could like partially transform his arms and like, I did the thing. But he's like, that wouldn't be fair to the people who worked hard to get in. Mm-hmm. And that's the only reason he doesn't do it. He's like, that'd be cheating and it wouldn't be fair to other people.
Yeah.
Which is not what someone like Deku would do.
Absolutely not. Deku would definitely 100% use things that were given to him to, undermine everybody else's hard work.
Again, it's literally the argument of fucking being a kid and
true
and just having a power given to you.
Yes.
By eating a hair. Like he straight up would that's it.
Yeah, because if Deku did what this guy did, which is like, look, I trained, I did this, there's other ways I could score points on this. Let me do that, and then I'll learn to use this thing. I'd be like, rock on, dude. But where he's just like, all right, I need to choose the best opportunity to use this thing someone else gave me.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's very aware of what he's been given, and he, isn't comfortable morally with, like you said, undermining what everybody else has worked hard to achieve. But this is at the point where we also meet someone who has been given a lot of things, but is also...
And I ended up liking them way more than I thought I would.
Wow.
And in fact, I have not encountered a single character in this series. It's still pretty new, but I love every character.
Could not agree
There
more.
was a side character who I completely forgot about, and they get a moment where I'm like, oh, you're cool too.
Oh, you're cool as fuck. Yeah. There's one character... There's a whole scene with this one. I might be thinking of a different thing.
Oh, no, we're...
Yeah.
Same guy. Yeah. And someone who I was, that's a background guy.
Yeah. And I could not help but think to myself, like, I love every person in this universe.
Yeah.
It's insane. But he
meets a rich
Kikoru. And she's a prodigy. Yeah, but she's also been, her father is an important person. They haven't really said who he is. Right?
It just seems to be someone with a lot of wealth and power who was like, you're gonna be the top monster person.
Pretty much like Todoroki.
Yeah. A female Todoroki.
Female tsundere, rich Todoroki though.
Especially because of the relationship that they both have with their fathers.
And snooty,
reminded me
though.
of Annie too.
I could see that.
Yeah. Bisky.
Tsundere?
Bisky.
Yeah, she's total tsundere.
Yeah, it is funny too.
But I like how she's strong. It's funny.
Yeah.
And the
like that's the funniest part. Like she talks all this shit and then she just delivers.
She can back it up.
Which she constantly mentions that, like, I told you. And
you're gonna eat your words. And he's like, I can't even be mad because she's just so good.
But even her as a tsundere, she's a little, to me, she's a tsundere done better because
it makes sense.
It makes sense, but also.
She's the rich girl character.
Yeah. But she's also like she'll give him a hard time, but she's also like, and I know this is kind of the definition of a tsundere, but she's also like, come on, dude, like like get up, like prove me wrong, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But she's very like I want to say she's more open about it. It seems
because I don't know if tsundere is the word. She's sort of just like a brash person. I don't know because she's not like it's not that I. Like she's just like, you know what? I'm better at this than you are, and you seem like a waste. But prove me wrong.
Yeah, she's
and then if he does,
she's always rooting for him.
Yeah, she's very open minded.
Yeah.
She doesn't like you're not worth my time.
Exactly.
She is like, what you don't? Oh yeah. Okay.
It just makes for it's the type where you again with the boundaries and like putting the characters into boxes and like they can only be this one thing for the entire series and you expect just one thing from the entire series. If you like just use that as a platform and then like build off of that and they can just be whatever they want to be, like they can change and develop. Like they don't have to be just this typical character.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if it's not immediately, but it is very soon into meeting her that we get a little bit of backstory.
Yeah, and I liked already because the issue I would usually have is like, okay, so she's just better than everyone else, and like and then it's like, oh, she's had training, okay, like that. All right, that explains it.
And
like everyone who's like a little better is like, oh, they worked harder.
Yeah.
No,
or they
seriously.
had access to more resources, which just happens sometimes.
Yeah.
And there's that heartbreaking flashback or backstory where she's taking an exam at school and sees she's top of the class, but and she feels great. She feels so good. And everybody else around her is being congratulated for even being third or fourth.
Yeah, like
or
you made
fifth.
fourth, we're getting ice cream.
And
Daddy.
also, it's not like she's like a high school kid. Like
Oh,
she,
right.
yeah, no, we should mention that too.
Yeah.
She's like in kindergarten.
Yeah.
Like it's not
At the
like
time of this happening.
Yeah. She's at the top of her class, and all the dads and like moms are like, "Oh, you did so good, sweetie."
Yeah.
Like you tell a kindergartner they do good at everything because you're supposed to tell kids that they're good because they won't end up right. But then they're like, "Oh, you did, you did so good." Oh my god. I was not a call out to you guys. I don't know why you took it. You guys took that.
Finish your story.
Yeah, finish.
So she's like, "Yes, I did good," and then she goes home, and then you don't even see her telling her dad. It's just, yeah, no shit. You're supposed to do good. It doesn't make any sense why you're telling me that. Like,
It was
obviously,
a basic test.
Yeah,
Like how could you have failed?
Why would I congratulate you for something that should have just happened?
Which is
she's
a
just
very
like,
real type of parenting some people
Yeah.
do. And yeah, like that was the moment where she like stopped being a happy kid who
Yeah.
was just smart.
Yep.
That's when she accepted that, like, now she's constantly pursuing a congratulations. Very realistic.
Very realistic.
which she hasn't even gotten yet.
Yeah.
It's just been like, this is expected of you. Don't fall off the fucking
she's
wagon.
constantly seeking approval as well, which is why when she first meets Kafka, and he actually shows a grain of concern or care for her, she is moved, she is blown away, and she's like tied to him from that point, I feel like, because it's what she's
he was just, because he's a genuine guy. He's just like, you did really good.
It's like, you did a great job. And she was just like, oh.
And you get this so much sense of not only did her father never give that attention, but people were probably like, oh, this like stuck up, rich.
Yeah, because her attitude, she's like, I'm better than you. And you're like, you're right, but you're kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
Don't want to hang out with you.
And the fact that like, and that's part of what makes him like a still people, like she's still like invested in him because he's like, you're right. You did it.
And it's just
like he doesn't let like, I'm not going to congratulate her. She was a fucking bitch.
Yeah, no.
He was just like, nailed it.
He knows that these are fucking kids. Like, she's a kid. Like, she's like 16 years old. And he's like, wow, that's actually really impressive that you graduated. I didn't know you were that impressive.
Yeah.
And she's just like, what are you talking about? That's what I'm supposed to do.
I assume people would imagine that's like a shipping opportunity, but
Absolutely not.
No.
I assume that's what people will like portray it as, like in fandoms and stuff. But like that felt like such like a
No.
here's like it's got like kind of not like just like fatherly, but like
Older brother.
Yeah, where it's just like
maybe even
I
uncle.
was like,
Uncle.
he's not old enough to be your dad.
Definitely not. But
yeah, just being like no shame, no embarrassment, no reluctance.
And I love again that the comedy comes from him just trying his best. And it's
because everyone has like a baseline. They're like, oh, this class is a little stronger than usual, but you can usually exert around 10% of the suit's potential.
Yeah.
Most people cap out at like 15. So like the guy's friend, he's like at 19. It's like, oh, yeah, that's pretty good.
Pretty good, not bad.
I thought it was like 25.
I thought it was 19.
No.
Oh, is it 19?
Let's settle
the
this.
barrier.
I don't know.
They talk eventually about everybody running into a wall at around 20, which is where that other story comes in into play.
And like people in the there's a default like baseline. Most of these people are above it. His friend is like higher than average, and then she's
45,
way above average. Yeah.
She's way
and
and it
like,
makes,
wow, it's the captain. That's a captain level.
Yeah. I'm unclear on the exact rules and system of it, but it makes sense. It's like because it's like, oh, her family is rich, so she has a private power suit.
Yeah, and she's had access to, I'm sure, equipment and training and professional aid. I think she's wanted
and
to
this
do.
and this team is like, they're all above 10%. They mentioned that, like, oh, this is the best team that we've had in a long time. Everyone's like 10%. That's freaking crazy.
Yeah. Except
for
our
Kafka.
boy.
Yeah.
Because what's his power level?
Yeah. 0. Absolute.
Oh, I forgot
0.
that he has to work his way up to 1.
Oh yeah, he has to work up to 1, and it's such a beautiful moment when because everybody's training hard. People are excelling faster than other people. Even what's her name again? Kikuru gets even higher up in percentage. And he just gets to 1, and he's so stoked. He's like, I made it to 1, and he's like throwing it in her face. Like, I made it to 1, and she's like, why are you bragging about making it to 1? I'm at 56 or whatever she's at. But it's so. When you think about it,
a difference of 0 to 1% is a much bigger difference than like 45 to 50.
The eternal optimist. This series has brought optimism out of Cody.
This is this protagonist, I think this is someone people need in their lives.
Yeah, man.
I need him in my life.
Okay. All right. Well,
you need his other form,
and that's
in your life.
The observer of the exam. He's kind of like
love him too.
At first he's like, all right, so that guy at first, okay, clearly Kafka is gonna fail, but you know we're still gonna give him the chance to. He can't even hold the weapons because you need a certain strength level to pick those up, and then he's just like, but this dude's funny.
Yeah, he's like, can we just pass him in the comedy section of the exam? And they're like, shut up.
Oh man,
he's entertained.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, that's funny, and there's a guy being like, that's funny. I'm like, oh, dude.
yeah. He's like, wait, let's see what he does. Let's see what he does. And I like also how that ends up. It's a thing that's played as a joke, but it does serve a purpose later.
Mm-hmm.
He has a reason for saying that and doing that. Again, that is done really, really well. I have zero problems with this story, and I'm constantly surprised. As something that would just be played as a one-off sort of like thing. Someone wanting to pass somebody because they make them laugh and watching them fail is hilarious. But that it comes back around to serving a purpose is to me just like, again, wow. Like, wow.
This is all you got to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do the thing and then have it come back actually meaning something and not just throw it out.
Payoff.
Yeah, I just want to, like, anybody who ever wants to start writing or drawing or creating manga, I just want to slide them the first 26 chapters of this and be like, just read this if you haven't already and then start.
And also because it's like, yeah, look, you can have these things that seem generic. But like you can do so many different things with a story that on the surface level, people could write off as being a generic story on every level. But like, yeah, it's kaiju, power suits, power guns, all this stuff. It is on a whole nother world than a kaiju story, or shonen or whatever.
100%. Where did Volume 1 end?
I think it ends after the exam.
Did you get through the whole exam? Because you read 8 or 9 chapters, so around what was happening? Like what was happening around that time?
I don't know.
The last thing you remember was.
I hope I didn't get the wrong info because I only read till.
I don't know where Volume 1 ended because I couldn't stop reading.
I remember. Hold on, let me see.
Out where. Yeah, because I seriously, I was like, okay, I paused, and then I just went right back to it.
Me too.
And it flew by so fast.
Yeah.
It didn't. There's mangas like that where you can just, I'm done. Where am I? 26?
Yeah.
Oh no, I was supposed to stop at 8.
I'm reading this every week, and what's kind of cool.
7.
7?
7 chapters.
7.
Yeah.
So I think he just got to defending. That's where he just turned into the monster.
He's defending her.
Mm-hmm.
So he's revealed himself to her, and then that.
I think that's it.
That's it.
I think that's it.
Okay, then I guess we'll have to stop.
Yeah.
When we get to that point, but can we do a volume done on 26 chapters?
I mean, look, what is cool about this series is that it did just get announced. I know this has nothing to do with a volume done necessarily, but it did just get announced that it's getting published, at least. So that means this is a series I'm going to for sure need physical copies of 100%. And if this series does not get an anime adaptation, I will be livid. I need this to have an anime.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great if they did.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't like that we have to stop the conversation at that point.
There's so much more that happens.
Yeah, because he doesn't really get stopped by the fact that he's stuck at 1% power, because that we said it, but like he's like, okay, there's more than one way to be useful in this situation. I know it's this type of monster that are weak points are usually here. He like crawls inside a monster. He starts like digging out the guts, and he's like, even like 0% or whatever of that suit. It's like, okay, I can eat. Maybe they could give these to the workers. He's still thinking about how he can help people.
Well, yeah, and I also like before. I mean, when he realizes like what is actually happening, because they know that now, obviously, the test isn't them. You know, they're like, oh, it's gonna be easy. You're gonna clean up monsters, so we should breeze through this. I looked it up yesterday, and I'm ready. I'm tested.
Yeah, the last
and they're
2
like,
years,
oh,
monster
you guys are way stronger than the past ones, so we're gonna do a fucking My Hero on you, and you're gonna have to defeat a kaiju. And they're like, what?
Multiple
kaiju, and then they start doing it, and then they realize like, oh, we could be defensive. That's the whole point of this, and it's just like so good.
And I like
where he realizes what his role is. Like he realizes like there's a reason they're following us with drones, and they're not just counting how many kaiju we kill. There's not a point system.
They don't even dwell on it, but how like quick-witted he is, and how tactical he actually is. So he's not like, he's like, okay, there's this.
He realizes what his strength is, and he doesn't dwell on not being the hero,
the fastest. Like, he's not killing him like she is. She's like a fucking breeze in the park. She's like, brah, brah, brah.
And he doesn't have that anime or manga moment where he sits there and goes, but why am I not the strongest? You know, I need to dig. I must dig. Yeah. I must dig deep and pull out.
And then he like grows like this, and the suit goes 125%.
Yeah. Cody cut me off when I said pull out, and it sounded weird.
I must dig deep and pull out.
Yeah, it didn't have that classic.
I apologize. But yeah, he quickly accepts his role. He's like, this is what I'm good at. This is what I know. Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
And he's fucking teaching the youngin'.
Yeah.
He's like, we're going to do this. And he's like, okay.
Yeah, I like, too, that like the other people are like, thanks.
Yeah, and the other people are like, whoa, this guy's fucking cool. Because he's immediately like, we can help them out. The weak spot is the belly. Guys, aim for the belly. I know this type of kaiju, its senses are heightened because it needs to hear, because it doesn't have eyes. So I'm going to throw this type of grenade that's going to distract it and leave an opening for you guys. And they're like, holy shit, wow, man. Like,
he just plays an assist role.
Yeah. It's amazing.
I think that's like what he says. He's like, I'm going to just assist and be on the defensive.
Yeah.
And like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, not only is it like this thing of like, not everyone is going to be like the superhero of a thing, but like, you shouldn't even care. You should just do what you're good at.
He knows that, like, being a part of the cleanup team, like, it's like, okay, they do their job, I do my job, but without me, it would be horrible for everyone else too, and without them, it would be horrible for everyone else. So it's like a give and take type of thing.
Yeah, don't try to be something you're not. Like, do what you do and do it well. That's what you're good at.
And teamwork, baby.
Yeah.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
And I
absolutely true.
Yeah, and I do feel like this was their My Hero moment. And
all of this, the whole arc definitely felt like the My Hero test.
And they did a thing too where it was like, okay, if you're down and your vitals, like, it becomes a critical thing, we have a shield that'll be put up, and you'll be completely safe, but you're disqualified. But like, we're not just gonna like wait to see what happens,
bro. And that happens to him. Pretty quickly. He's like, you have internal bleeding, you have broken ribs, and he's like, I'm fine.
Yeah. Because it's like, we can pull you out now. You'll be disqualified, but we'll give you medical treatment. They don't even shame him for it, which I really liked.
Yeah.
It was just a very thing of like, do you want to come out? Like, obviously you'll be disqualified, but.
And it's a fucking guy. He's like, do you want to come out? And he's like, no, I'm fine. He's like, thank God. I am so entertained right now.
He's like, I told you this
he's
guy's
like,
hilarious.
God damn. He's putting on a show.
His new plan, what he does, he's like, okay, I'm going to ride on your shoulders.
Yes.
And then I'm still going to throw grenades. We're still in here, man.
Yeah. And then they almost get defeated again. And then he has this moment of like, I'm defeated. This is it. It's a wrap. It's over. I'm done. I had a good run. And the prodigy girl saves him, and her reason is like, no one dies on my battlefield. You're a part of my team. I'm not letting you die. You're not forfeiting. You're not losing. We're in this together. We're all winning. And I was like, God damn, like, they set you up to be this like spoiled brat. And not that at all.
They gave me a rich tsundere, snobby girl,
Pigtail,
blonde, yeah.
Made her like an amazing, relatable character that I love.
Yeah.
And they didn't undo her behavior. They didn't be like, oh, actually, she's not tsundere. No, she's still tsundere. She's still rich with all that. But it's like, she's also still like this like complicated person who like, is working to be a monster fighter. That's a good thing.
Well, let's because we're already coming up on an hour and some change, 20 I think.
Well, we're almost because.
But I do want to get to the end, and I also want to talk a little bit about kind of what happens after, without going too in depth. Because if we could do another episode on what happens after this, I'd obviously love that. But I do want to like dip my toe in it a little bit. But why again? Does she need his help? Is it
because it is fun because she's like the whole thing. She's been like jumping ahead, taking out threats. The other people are like, not really much we can do. But the downside of that becomes, which it's kind of video gamey, raiding parties where it's like she finds the boss and now she's all alone. So she is the super strong one, but because she didn't wait up for help or she didn't wait for backup, she was like, I can do this on my own. She hit the one threat where she couldn't. But
she actually, I do because I remember now, she actually does take him out, and she takes him out pretty easily, I think. But and then the test is over. The test is over.
They're like, all right, that was it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
We had no casualties. Nobody failed. Everybody passed. And then something weird starts to happen
with the kaiju.
Where the kaiju, for the first time ever, to them, I think, start reanimating. Their corpses start reanimating, and as they reanimate, they have a they are aware of their power levels, and their power levels are increasing.
They're like growing new organs and bones. Like, oh, that should not be able to do that at all. Yeah.
And then they say like, oh fuck, get everybody out. Activate everyone's shields. Get them out.
We're done.
Send some of those drones back in to get eyes on what's happening. We're done. We're out of here.
Yeah, we're sending the big dogs in now.
Yeah, me and you, let's go. We got to get in there, or else everybody's gonna die. And her being, to her credit, the hero that she is like, she rolls up her sleeves and she's like, I'm
gonna buy them time.
I'm gonna buy them time.
Yeah.
And because she starts, getting her ass handed to her.
Yeah, whooped, definitely.
And she's ready to sacrifice herself for everybody.
Because this is that might be later. Yeah, but yeah, she has a very heroic, genuine moment that was completely believable in them. That was like. And she was even like, this is how it ends for me.
Yeah, and she even like apologizes to her dad.
Yeah, I know.
I wasn't strong enough.
I wasn't perfect. I couldn't be perfect. And she's ready, and she's doing it not necessarily to prove that she's the best, but to give, like you said, people time to escape and to make it out. And that's where Kafka steps in, full kaiju form.
Mm-hmm.
Full kaiju.
Yeah, and he's like, all right, I'll take it from here.
Yeah. And what does he say? He's just like, yeah, you're not going to die here. Like, you can't die here.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And she's
because the monster's like talking to her.
Yeah.
He's like, someone's going to die here.
And
because every time he has badass moments every now and then. Yeah. But every time it will then get undercut by him freaking out.
Yeah.
Because he was like, the only one dying here is you. Yeah. And he's like, let me see you get back up from that. He's like, oh my God.
Yeah. And he turns back around to her because she's like, who are you? What is that? And he's like, badass. And then he turns back around and he's like, please don't tell anybody about
And he's like, all like cute.
I will get in so much trouble.
Yeah. I can't believe that's where Volume 1 ends because so much more happens. In 26 chapters.
I was going through this story, couldn't stop myself. I was like, all right, oh no, it's a new series. I have to wait next week.
If this doesn't get an anime, I'm going to be pissed. I can't wait. I think a new chapter comes out as of recording this in 5 days. So by the time this episode comes out, there will probably be 27 chapters out. I'm staying up to date on this for sure. I would love to do another episode on this, but before this episode becomes a 2-hour episode, what are your final thoughts? And how
I was looking to make sure that was chapter 7.
How was like,
fingers crossed.
No, it was.
And how else can we express to you that it's something that you need to read? But what are your final thoughts?
I'm gonna say it.
Let's fucking say it.
Kaiju number 8. More like Kaiju number 1.
Thank God.
All right.
Thank God.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
That's
Why thank God?
there were
No, 'cause
ways
it was-
that you could have gone with
Yeah,
that.
you could have gone a lot of other ways.
Oh, Kaiju number 8. More okay, I don't.
Yeah. So you don't want to
I
do
don't wanna
it.
say it.
Yeah. But yeah, kaiju number 1.
Kaiju number 1.
Yeah, for sure.
In my heart.
Yeah, that was my second issue with this series. Is it's not called Kaiju number 1.
I'm petitioning to get it changed.
Hey, can you change this?
Yeah.
Which is called number 8 because they name like monsters that are able to get away because those are the biggest threats and they're also pretty rare.
Yeah.
And he's the 8th one they've recognized.
Yeah. It is a new series. It's on what Manga Plus is what you read it on, Cody?
Yeah.
That's
official, so
yeah. I
worry about stealing.
I pay $1.99 for the Shonen Jump app, and it's on there too, and it updates. I think like a day after it comes out in Japan, it's translated, and it is worth $1.99 a month for that series alone. I mean, there's really nothing else I can say. I mean, we've loved it this whole episode. So
I want a poster of it. I want
Yes.
merchandise of this guy.
yeah. And they do a thing too, which I really like. They come out with episodes. They come out with chapters every 3 weeks, and then the 4th week is just a chapter full of like all the promo art for the series. So it's 3 times a month it comes out, and that last week is just all the Twitter art and all the Instagram art. And when Cody said he wanted a poster of it, it reminded me because the art in there. Especially to see it colored.
Yeah.
Wow. I need a poster.
Because I see the way his kaiju form works and stuff, where you can tell like, oh, there's supposed to be lights and stuff happening here, and like sparkling energy and motion.
Yeah. I think it goes without saying this is a series that we all love. Unless Cody can find an interesting note or two in there, I think that's gonna do it. I mean, final thoughts. This whole episode has been our Cody's frowning. He might have found something. Our thoughts on how much we love this series. It's a series I think we all highly recommend. Me and Cody got emotional, and Megan got horny.
Also emotional.
That's a different kind of emotion.
Yeah, a different kind of emotion. But if you have...
2 things.
Oh.
One, it's Megan. She wrote down her thought process, which is, what's a kaiju? And then, all right, there's an arrow. Oh, okay. And then that arrow loops around to... Kaiju are giant monsters like a Godzilla. That's how she...
Well, it was in the panel because it was like Kaiju country, Japan. And then I was like wondering like if people didn't know what Kaiju was, at the bottom of the panel it said Kaijus are huge monsters, and I was like, "Oh, okay, thanks." Like, thank you for doing that.
This is pretty important, which is the childhood friend. She rides a tiger into battle.
Oh, yeah, I wrote she has a fucking tiger.
She can't get cooler.
A white tiger.
Yeah.
A tiger.
She is perfect. She is perfect.
And then you wrote one of the jokes, which when he first transforms, he's like, I really just have to pee, and I think he like just forms like
pees out of his nipples.
Yeah, he pees.
Yeah. That's when it did like the body horror, which that's why I was like, I wanted to see more of that because it was also well done. Yeah, which is a credit to this because my issue is like, why didn't you give me more?
Yeah.
And also, his name is Kafka. I don't know if that's a reference to Metamorphosis, but it would make sense.
It's a. I see what you did there.
Took me a second.
I think it has to be. But I mean, who knows? It's just such a.
Because I've never. Yeah. I don't know if Kafka is a Japanese. It's not. It's a Russian name, right?
It's such a specific name. I don't know. It has to be. It has to be.
Is it just for the sake of metamorphosis?
I don't know.
Which is what he undergoes, and he does kind of eat a cockroach.
I also might have been reading a little bit too into it, but I thought that like
Josh, are you okay?
Why? Because
do you have a fever?
Because I'm trying to understand things.
Yeah.
And you're gonna make fun of me when I tell you what I really thought.
I thought I would. Anyway.
But I also think, and it's either going to be two things. It's either going to be a no shit thing or you're reading too into it kind of thing. But it's also
Kaiju number 8.
Okay.
More like
All
this.
right. All right.
Okay, go.
Wait, did you already say that? It's also it's about never being too old to achieve your dreams, and then the part where he turns into a kaiju is when you get older, your body betrays you.
I feel like there is something to that. If we're viewing it as like a second coming of age, I would imagine there's probably some relevance to the fact that because he was gonna do this regardless, right?
Yeah,
he was still going to go attend, and that's what makes him such a great protagonist is the fact that he has that power would not really have changed what he would have done and accomplished.
The fact that he got that power was at first a deterrent for him to even continue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So and especially where he's like, I'm not going to use it to get a leg up. I'm going to do this on my own merit. Where because it's like, had he not gotten that, he still would have had zero strength. That he used his intelligence and tactics and his well-meaning nature would have gathered him allies. So, what do you think? Him like gaining that form right before he goes to like I'm getting back in it. I'm gonna one last hoorah, and
hoorah.
I'm this thing that like could help me, but it also could get me in a lot of trouble and really end up causing my death. What do you think? There's a significance there?
I do. The only part where that analogy falls apart is that where a 32-year-old might look at his body betraying him as something that's negative, being able to turn into a kaiju is a positive. But it is something.
It's scary.
It is scary. It's
gross.
Yeah. Sometimes liquids start coming out of your nipples.
That is true. Sometimes. One day, Megan.
Guys.
What?
I do think it means something. I don't know exactly what it means yet, and it might be something that is revealed to have significance later on because there might be consequences for this. There might be some way that it affects him that we're just not aware of.
Because, I mean, and having read past the Volume 1, I really... Although my attitude already started to change, like by the end of it, it did feel like the parts where he becomes a kaiju are kind of the weakest parts.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not a crutch. It's not relying on him being a monster to tell the story at all, which is like nice.
Yeah, I think
like it's just it is his, situation. It's
in 26 chapters. I think he's been a kaiju twice.
Yeah,
and for a very short amount of time.
I maybe but the format is usually like there's an arc and then it ends where he's finally like, I'm in a position where this is the best course of action for me to take here. But it's a lot of him getting by on like what he has, and that's why it's so cool that like it's not like, oh, now that you're a kaiju you have enhanced strength of the human form. It's like you're exactly that, so everything he does when he's not a kaiju, that is what he is doing and accomplishing. And then it is this thing of like, all right, time to let loose because it's either this or more people get hurt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like we said, we could talk about this series forever. If you've already read it, let us know what you think about it. And if you read it because of our review, hop in our Discord and talk to us about it. This is something that I think for sure we're going to want to find more people that we can talk about this series with. So if you're not in our Discord already, hop in there. That's where we'll be. I guess, talk about not just that, but people roast me in there, apparently, a lot, actually.
They roast all of us.
Me a little bit more, I feel like.
They play with our emotions, with our fears.
Me and you, specifically, yeah.
Cody's very...
Yeah, I don't know.
The only thing I'm afraid of is being compared to Sheldon.
Which is hilarious.
And then I have one other fear, but we don't have to get into that.
We'll figure it out.
Something that causes a deep sense of dread in me.
I do know what it is.
I like it. It's pretty ironic, isn't it?
It's very ironic, and we'll reveal it one day.
Isn't it ironic?
But speaking of roasts...
Don't you think?
Speaking of roasts, here's the section of the podcast called The Wonder Circle coming at you, where we review comments. Where we review comments? We don't review them, we read them. Where we read comments that you've left on previous videos. And the reason I say speaking of roasts is because I'll go first today. Mine's a little bit of a jab. And is it a good
always
jab?
A jab with you, huh?
I know. Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah,
it is hilarious.
Yeah, we really enjoy them. Keep them coming because it's actually we find them really really good.
Yeah, I can't catch a break. I can't catch a freaking break. My comment comes from you know him, you love him, Bizarre Gold.
Whoa, Bizarre Gold.
This is from the Spy X Family redone, Volume 1 redone episode where I wore a suit. Josh looks like he is either wearing his dad's suit, and it's a little too big, or the suit took over his body and is moving a little too much to look human. So not only do I look like I'm swimming in a suit that does not belong to me, but I'm moving too much to look human. Or the suit is moving too much for me to look human.
The suit kind of looks like it's moving you, like you're the puppet in the suit.
Right.
It's very Kill a
Yeah,
Kill.
Tuxedo.
Right, Haunted. Yes.
That was a great movie. You guys watch Tuxedo?
Never in my life.
With Jackie Chan?
Absolutely
No.
not.
It's Jackie Chan. He gets a tuxedo that's basically an exoskeleton, and it has combat moves. So it's the classic Jackie Chan. It's fighting. He's like, what? I don't know how to fight, but he does because he's Jackie Chan.
Bizarre Gold.
I hope it was Jackie Chan. I'm wrong.
Yeah. Bizarre Gold. You got me. You got me. There's the ambulance coming to pick me up right now. Because
is that what ambulance is?
You roasted me.
I think it's cop.
Yeah, there's the cops to come arrest me because I've stolen my dad's suit and he reported it.
Did you? Where'd you get that suit?
It's a suit that I've had for a long time and
did it used to fit better?
Yeah, it used to fit better because Fat Josh that suit used to be tight. So thank you, Bizarre Gold, for saying I'm swimming in it now because it means
it's just a merit to how you're improving every day.
Yeah, how you're evolving.
Yeah. To your final form.
Yeah, Fat Josh, was cozy in there. It was used to be a tight fit. So yeah, you know what, Bizarre Gold? Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I'm swimming in it.
Yeah, I'm swimming in it. In the deep end, baby. Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I could take a few more laps, lose a few more pounds, swim in it a little bit more.
Hey, chlorine's good for you.
Yeah, the water's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of water.
Oh, fuck.
Oh.
Brian Perez.
Bizarre Gold, I love you, by the way.
Says the best form to know they're Americans is listening to Gallons.
Which is funny because who did you think that we were? Just based off of our attitude and overall como se dice?
Oh, maybe they thought we were from Mexico.
Oh, maybe.
I mean, we've all got Latin in us.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some more than others, but that's neither here nor there.
Neither here nor there.
Nor there.
Yeah, nor there. You guys are more of the same kind.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I'm jealous.
Oh, wow. I think, to Megan's point, where'd you think we were from?
Yeah.
It was up until Gallons that they were like, they could be from anywhere.
Yeah. No, that really nailed the nail in the
Don't we have like an American
coffin.
accent or something? Or?
Yeah, also,
yeah, Americans do have accents for sure.
For sure.
Plus, we're just drowning in freedom.
Plus, we're we have
really
California accents for sure.
Yeah, I say like way too much.
Yeah, we say like and yeah. Like no, like yeah. Yeah?
Right.
We say no, and they're like, are you saying yes or no? We're like, no, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
No, for sure. What is, and I'm dumb. I'm going to show you how American I am.
Oh, fuck.
What do other people?
Centimeters?
Yeah.
Instead of gallons, they say like,
I don't know, some
quints.
communist.
Quints?
Pints. Like a Ale.
Oh,
ale?
pints. Yeah, quarts. You meant.
Yes.
Quarts.
Pints and quarts. You combine the two.
Isn't quints like 5?
5.
Yeah, like you say.
In Spanish, maybe.
A quadruple, a quintuple.
Quints.
I'm fucking smart.
Oh.
A quadruple. It's like a single, a double, a triple, a quadruple, a centuple.
All I know is apparently 80 kilograms is supposed to weigh a lot.
From all the drugs that you used to partake.
No.
Whoa.
I feel like if you are a drug addict or,
That's so funny.
Yeah, you're probably really good at the metric system or just converting pounds to ounces to kilograms.
Oh my God, I tried to do that.
The only reason Americans would learn the metric system is to measure out drugs. Yeah, because it's like grams. That's how you measure weed and stuff.
Yeah.
You don't measure that in ounces.
No, I tried to do a fucking baking shit. I tried to do some drugs and it didn't work out because I didn't measure it out right. No, I tried it as it is hard. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm just gonna do it American style.
Yeah,
there you go.
As a bald eagle screeches in the back. It's so funny. We're never gonna let go of our system.
No.
It's like objectively worse.
I think that we just have to stick. Yeah, we have to stick with it because how embarrassed we are. We can't back down.
We can't.
We're
just
doubling
be like,
down.
all right.
Yeah, no, we're doubling down.
Yeah, it's designed so that we look stupid anywhere we go.
It's like it's so much easier to do that system. It's funny.
It makes so much sense.
It's
feet to miles, completely arbitrary. What does that even mean?
Yeah.
Megan, what's
my
your
comment? Let me pull it up real quick. So this comes from Dylan Eastwood.
What up, Dylan?
What up, Dylan?
What up, D-Dog?
D-Dog. E-Dog. Okay, this is a comment. Everyone, Anya is the cutest thing ever. Volume 1 Chan, I'm a head out. And I replied, I was like, oh no, I hope that she really wasn't too upset because we really hyped up Anya and we barely give any love to Volume 1 Chan.
Right, Volume 1 Chan's been a little quiet recently.
But I give love to Volume 1 Chan. I mean, like, this is like, you guys don't give love
She's
to
alright.
Volume 1 Chan.
Oh, I give her love. Not like, you know what I mean? I give her like, I love her, and she knows that I love her, and she feels it.
And on that note,
and she's been quiet.
On that note, speaking of that note,
speaking of
well,
notes,
I do want to say, look, can I just say, look, she's been a little quiet lately, but it's because she's working on something big. I mean, you heard her; she said it herself. She's got big plans.
It's true,
and she doesn't have time for us, but she's coming back. I'm trying to tiptoe around, a reveal, but she's coming back, and bigger and better than ever.
Yeah.
Megan?
Speaking of notes,
Yes.
this is my last episode using this notebook. I'll have a next one. This one's chock full of Volume 1 goodness right here.
And speaking of notes and notebooks, what we might do for a segment on our live show. Yes.
are we doing a live show?
I think we're doing a live show.
Oh, we're doing a live show.
Oh, that's so funny. You mentioned that, Josh. Tell us more.
It's going to be our 1-year anniversary. Can you believe it? Time flies. And if you go back on
audio including.
if you go back on our YouTube channel and you're like, but they've only been uploading videos for this long, it's because our audio is when we really started. And so it's been a year since we uploaded our first episode, and we're celebrating by doing a live stream. It's not going to be a typical sort of just us talking live stream. It's going to be segmented, planned. It's going to be a show, and it's going to be an event you're not going to want to miss. It's going to be full of things such as maybe an appearance from Volume 1 Chan, possibly. Who knows? She might show up. She might not. Maybe a segment where we go through Megan's notes and we read some of her notes from previous episodes. We could also, what else could we do, guys?
Look at old footage from when we did record.
Yes.
But just for like 10-second clips, and then nothing else. So you can see what we were like when that background wasn't there, when Josh had a weird mustache, where me and Megan didn't really know how to sit right.
Yeah.
And we were tan.
And we had beautiful, glorious tans.
And the camera angles. What was I thinking?
Yeah.
Garbage.
Yeah.
Trash.
Oh.
So,
I'm
okay,
agreeing.
well, yeah,
No,
calm down.
you were right.
Yeah, chill out.
We didn't even have this sign yet. You had wood paneling?
It was fake.
And we'll talk about the backstory of that sign.
And we will talk about the backstory
That
of the
is
sign.
a rich background. We're like, didn't they just buy it? It's never that easy.
No, it's never
Never
that
that
easy
easy.
with Volume 1. Come on.
Yeah, so we want
Something
to go
that's
through.
funny to hear, but you're like, wow, how terrifying.
Oh, if you're really there, scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we want to go through old footage and kind of just give our commentary, behind the scenes commentary on what we were going through at the time.
Hopefully, we have a clip of Megan when she sat down for like the second episode and
Okay, maybe we don't have to do that
Got a little
one.
excited.
Maybe we
Yes.
don't have to do. Don't.
Well,
it's like I peed my pants.
She almost did.
I almost did. We're also going to be doing a Q&A section as well. So
That's
when
cues.
and we A them.
Yeah.
Cue us up and we'll A them off.
A you off. So Q&A, we're going to do Q&A. When this episode comes out, comment a question for us. We will answer it in the live. And I'm also going to be putting it up on Instagram if you follow us on Instagram. If you don't follow us on Instagram, what are you doing?
If you're not following us
At
on
Volume
Instagram,
1 Pod.
At Volume 1 Pod. Follow us on Instagram. And I'll also be... fart?
No, I was gonna.
No, he was going to say F you, but then he turned it into follow us. And it was pretty good.
Pretty good. I'm sorry.
It was a solid
Yeah.
visual.
I'll be posting this week Q&A, so you can type in your questions and we'll answer them on the live stream. And also, I mean, you can ask any questions on the live stream as well. And speaking of live streams, it's going to be on February 28th at 12:30 PST.
It'll be at your
Twitch.
apartment.
It'll be
Studio.
available on Twitch, and also you're going to find it on our Discord as well. And if you're not a part of our Discord, join the Discord.
Yeah.
Follow us on Discord.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning into the live show. And if you do end up missing it, we may or may not post it depending on if it's something we're able to do. So that's kind of more of an incentive to be there when it happens.
Gotta be there. You gotta celebrate with us.
Yes, and just celebrate with us. It might be something you only see once and you never see again. So you're
We
gonna want
might
to be there.
die.
Don't promise that.
Yeah. Maybe if you know. Don't we know what we're reading next week?
Do we know what we're reading next? Oh, we do know what we're reading next week.
We've kind of been on a. Yeah, we actually. I'm really excited for it too.
I'm really excited. I don't know how it's going to go, but I'm looking forward to it. I've already bought the physical copy of it, which is a hardcover special edition version of it, and it's a
Josh likes his covers hard.
Sure do, friend. It's called Saints Young Men, and it is a manga series about Jesus and Buddha.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If they were, roommates that lived together. Yeah. So, do a little bit of research on that. Check that out. Maybe read it and, we can kind of go through it together. Doesn't that sound nice?
That sounds like a heckin' good time.
That sounds like a dream.
That sounds like a heckin' freaking good time.
That sounds like.
That sounds like better than a butt cheek on a stick.
Pardon me?
Yeah. Excuse me. Oh, man.
Just trying to play along.
I mean, it does sound better than that. You're
No,
right,
yeah,
but
it does sound a lot better than that.
Does it?
Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And shout out to our Patreon members too. I kind of fucked up.
We
and,
had to do some analysis.
Yeah.
Shout out to. I'm gonna give this Patreon member a verbal shout out because I have royally fucked up. Shout out to Gotchi Reviews and shout out to all of our other. I think it's on this side. Patreon members.
Sorry about that.
We love you. We appreciate you, and we appreciate you if you're not a Patreon member too. But what had happened was, I sort of got the memberships mixed up and forgot to include his name for I think like 4 episodes, and that's my bad, and it's on me, and I genuinely feel terrible. But
As he should.
yes. But I'm here to remedy that, so thank you. Shout out Gotcha Reviews. Shout out all of our other Patreon members. You guys are fucking amazing. That's it for our Kaiju number 8 review. There's nothing else left to do except get out of here on our outro that's always the same and never changes. And I forgot, if you're not a Patreon, you can become one at patreon.com/volume1.
That's a really good point, that you can become a Patreon subscriber. I think a lot of people don't realize that.
A lot of good perks.
Yeah.
A lot of good perks.
A lot of good perks. And just subscribe if you're not subscribed. But now we got to get out of here on our outro that's always the same and never changes, which today I feel like has to be something meaningful. Yikes. Until next time,
Screonk.
Maybe we'll hold on to it.
Okay, it's a backup. I'll admit it's a backup.
It's a backup.
It's a backup.
It's always good to have one.
It's a backup. Until next time, stop peeing out of your nipples.
No.
Megan? I just I had one, but it's not. I don't want to say it.
What does that mean?
It's something.
Yeah, it's not something like.
It's for you. It's for you and him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's not for us and him.
No.
What about keep those bugs out of my mouth?
Well, if you did, you wouldn't gain superpowers. So.
Right.
Until next time, give me them buggies.
I like it.
Okay. No, it's not that good. Until next time, you guys know the Lady Gaga song "Monster"? No.
Love was a monster.
Monster. That boy is a monster. Monster.
How about we just say what you said, Megan, earlier in the episode? Kaiju number 8, more like Kaiju number 1.
I like it.
That's good.
Kaiju number 1 in my heart.
Okay.
There we go.
That's good.
Okay.
Until next time, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And Kaiju
number 8, more like Kaiju number 1 in my heart. I was going to say, give me that much.
Oh, yep, that'll do.